Thank you for your participation in this study titled Interest Profiler and Work Importance Profiler Do Assessees Fake It Till They Make It? First, you need to know that deception was used in this study. None of the participants will actually proceed to the next stage, nor will they be eligible to win $500. With this large monetary incentive, we were trying to replicate a job application procedure. We were trying to determine whether participants can and do fake on non-cognitive selection assessments when there's a lot at stake, money. I will explain the purpose of the study, and later I will describe how this study meets American Psychological Association and federal guidelines. The purpose of this study was to determine the extent to which applicants can and do fake on interest and values assessments in a selection context, and how faking affects the survey's ability to predict job performance, job satisfaction, and motivation. You are randomly assigned to one of three conditions: a control honest group, a can people fake group, and a do people fake group. You completed an interest and values assessment, and then you completed a performance task. Participants in the control group were told that their responses are anonymous and to fill out the interest and values surveys completely honestly. They were told that they will all be entered into a drawing. Those who are randomly chosen would proceed to the next step and would be eligible to win $500. Those in the CAN group were shown a job description of a file clerk job and told to try to respond to the items in accordance with the requirements of the job. They were told if they score well based on the job requirements, they would proceed to the next step where they will be eligible to win $500. Participants in the do group were shown a description of a file clerk job and, similar to those in the Can People Fake group, they were told that if they score well on the interest and values inventory based on the job requirements, they would proceed to the next step and would be eligible to win $500. However, they were told to be honest in their responses. Afterward, all participants completed an online task that is similar to what would be expected of file clerks, categorizing word lists. Then they completed surveys assessing their task, motivation, and satisfaction. We wanted to determine whether the predictive power of the interests and values inventory diminishes for those in the faking condition. More specifically, we wanted to determine the extent to which faking affects the correlation coefficient between these measures in job performance, job satisfaction, and motivation. So you know, APA and federal guidelines state that researchers should not use deception unless they have determined that 1. The use of deception is justified by the value and validity of the research. 2. The research could not be feasibly conducted without the use of deception. 3. Deception does not extend to influence participants' willingness to participate. And 4. The harm induced by the study is minimal, and such harm is removed through debriefing. To address number 1, the use of deception is justified by the value and validity of the research, we offer the following. There is a tremendous amount of controversy surrounding the use of non-cognitive/personality measures in a selection context. Many researchers have argued that the predictive power of these personality skills do not decrease significantly when people fake. Meanwhile, other researchers have found that the predictive power of personality measures do decrease with faking. The purpose of the study is to concentrate on 2 specific interests and values surveys and determine the extent to which faking affects the correlation coefficient between these measures and job performance, as well as the rank ordering of participants. These measures will be part of an online career assessment and management system that our research team will use at a state level to match job seekers to occupations. Thus, it can be argued that the results of the study have wide-reaching practical significance. To address number 2, the research could not be feasibly conducted without the use of deception, we offer the following. Research suggests that this study would be most valuable if we use deception. We can't simply ask participants to intentionally fake. Edens and Arthur 2000 looked at the strength of the relationship between faking and different outcome variables found in faking instructional set studies versus more realistic motivational distortion research. Their findings suggested that the instructionally induced faking in laboratory studies resulted in more significant findings than motivated distortion. Therefore, to get a realistic assessment of the effect of motivated response distortion, we can't simply ask participants to intentionally fake. We can't ask participants to fake as if they were applying for the job either. It's well established that people are bad at predicting their own behavior and how different situations do or will impact them. In fact, for this very reason, a large number of studies use deception to accurately answer their research questions. For example, 90% of research on compliance, conformity, altruism, aggression, 50% of research in other areas of social psych use deception. Additional research suggests that to accurately assess the effects of faking, participants have to be offered some sort of motivation to fake. Further, the larger the incentive, the more motivated participants will be to fake, so we had to present a very large cash incentive. To address number 3, deception does not extend to influence participants' willingness to participate. This study was not advertised as a $500 lottery study. When you signed up for the study, you were simply told that the purpose of the study was to assess participants' career-related interests and values. Lastly, to address number 4, the harm induced by the study is minimal and such harm is removed through debriefing. We offer the following. Several studies have tested how research participants react when they learn that they have been deceived by a researcher. In most studies that assess reactions to deception, the vast majority of participants say that they realize that deception is sometimes necessary for methodological reasons and report positive feelings about their participation in the study. Even Milgram, 1963, found that less than 2% of his participants reported having negative feelings about their participation in his experiment on obedience. Participants do not view deception in research the same way as they view deception in daily life. In fact, research suggests that they view it as a necessary component to examining certain research questions. As long as they are informed about the details of the research after the study is over, and they understand the reason behind the deception, they generally do not mind being misled. Actually, research indicates that assuming that participants are properly debriefed, participants report more positive reactions to their participation and higher ratings of the scientific values of studies that involve deception. In this study, severe emotional distress is not expected, only temporary feelings of disappointment, embarrassment, guilt, and potentially anger or disenchantment for having been misled. A few more notes. While you will not experience any direct benefit from participation other than research credit, you will help provide empirical support for instruments that will likely be used in the future by individuals exploring potential careers or actively seeking employment. You should understand how your data will be used. Your responses will be kept confidential and your name will not be reported with your data. When we write about the study to share it with other researchers, we will write about the combined information we have gathered. You will not be identified in these written materials. Now that you have been debriefed and given all of the study details, please let us know if you would like your data withdrawn from the study. You will simply need to provide us with your project ID and we will eliminate all data associated with that ID. If you have any questions that remain unanswered, please feel free to contact Dr. Brian Dick at brian.dick@colostate.edu or Dr. Kurt Krager at kurt.kraiger@colostate.edu. The investigators would also like to hear your feedback if you were confused by or experienced any negative emotions as a result of the deception. If you experienced any negative emotions as a result of completing the study, you also might consider contacting a counselor at the Psychological Services Center at Colorado State University. PSC operates on a sliding scale to help clients receive affordable services. The regular number is 970-491-5212. Another useful resource in this case is the Counseling Center at the Health Network. Their regular number is 970-491-6053. We truly appreciate your time and effort in this study.